I have spent 19 years filing hazard notifications on behalf of Sector Orvith Null. 19 years of automated relay bursts, trajectory calculations, impact probability tables, and distribution-less confirmations. In that time, I have filed 411 hazard notices. 411 times the compact received them, logged them, assessed them, and either dispatched a response asset or closed the file with a below intervention threshold notation. Not once in 411 filings has anyone outside the compact distribution list received so much as a routing echo. I would like to be clear about that because it matters for what came next. The object designated Orvith Rogue 11 crossed our outer sensor buoy line at 3:14 on the 42nd day of the third cycle. I was not on shift. My duty deputy, a careful young analyst named Vora Istem, ran the preliminary numbers twice before waking me, which I appreciate. She is not the kind of officer who raises an alarm without cause. By the time she reached me, the trajectory model was already on my console screen, and the cause for alarm was unambiguous. Orvith Rogue 11 was a dense, irregular mass approximately 11 kilometers at its longest axis, moving on a line that would intersect with the inhabited third body of the Soral system in approximately 41 hours. I authorized the hazard notification at 3:47. Standard protocol. Compact distribution list, priority class 1, full trajectory packet, mass estimate, impact probability envelope, and a formal request for compact emergency resources to assess interdiction options. I sent it on compact hazard accord frequency Keth9, which is the designated channel for priority class 1 trajectory events under Accord Article 7. I did not send it anywhere else. There was nowhere else to send it. At 5:19, I received an acknowledgement from Compact Emergency Resources, automated, confirming receipt and nodding that an assessment team would convene within 6 hours. Standard. Expected. I went back to refining the trajectory model. At 5:41, I received a second acknowledgement. This one was not from the compact. The header read, Terran Deep Grid MONITORING, ORVETH 09 Relay, Priority Class 1, Acknowledged, Asset Diversion Query Inbound. I read it 3 times, then I called Vora back in. She read it twice, then she looked at me. I looked at her. Neither of us had anything useful to say. The follow-on transmission arrived at 5:48. It was brief, procedural, and carried the identifier of something called the survey vessel Aldrin's Promise, Registry Terran, Deep Field Science class, currently transiting the outer reach of corridor Keth 7 on a mapping run. The message read in its entirety, Aldrin's Promise to Orvith Null Hazard Authority. We are reading your priority 1 on Accord frequency Keth 9. Current transit position puts us 11.4 hours from Orvith Rogue 11 intercept. We carry a gravitic resonance deflection array rated for objects up to 15 kilometers. Request confirmation that interdiction assist is wanted. Standing by. I sat with that for a moment. Then I pulled up the Accord records. The Terran Compact Joint Hazard Notification Accord, first revision, was filed 112 years ago as an administrative annex to a broader navigation cooperation agreement. The relevant section, Article 9, Annex 4, established a shared monitoring frequency for trajectory hazards in the outer Orvith corridor, on the understanding that both parties operated sensor infrastructure in that region, and that redundant notification would reduce response lag. The accord had never been formally closed on either side. As far as the records showed, no one had ever reviewed it. It had simply continued to exist in the administrative background, the way old paperwork tends to do when no one assigns anyone the task of ending it. Earth had been subscribed to frequency Keth 9 for 112 years. Every priority class 1 hazard notification I had ever filed had gone to them automatically. I had not known this. Neither, apparently, had anyone else in this office for the past several decades of staff rotations. I confirmed to the Aldrin's promise that interdiction assist was wanted. I want to be precise about my reasoning. It was not enthusiasm. It was arithmetic. The compact assessment team would not convene for another 5 hours. The earliest compact interdiction asset could reach Orvith 11 was somewhere in the range of 22 to 27 hours, depending on which depot they dispatched from. The object's arrival time at the Sorrel third body was 41 hours from the moment I had filed the notice, which had now been 41 hours minus the elapsed time. Call it 38 hours and change when I confirmed to the Aldrin's promise. The Aldrin's promise could reach the object in 11.4 hours. Those are the numbers. I acted on them. What followed I did not observe directly, because I was not on the Aldrin's promise and I had a sector hazard office to run. I observed it through telemetry, and through the periodic status transmissions, the vessel's comms officer filed every 2 hours, which was more than I had asked for and slightly more than I was accustomed to receiving from my own assets. The Aldrin's promise reached Orvith 11 at roughly 1700. The object was denser than the preliminary mass estimate had suggested, which meant the gravitic resonance deflection array required 2 full application passes rather than 1. The vessel's captain, whose messages were brief and whose calculations were not, spent approximately 3 hours making those passes. The trajectory shift required was not large, the physics of early intervention being what they are. A comparatively modest force applied at sufficient distance produces a disproportionate result. By 2100, the object's updated trajectory model showed a missed distance at the Sorrel third body of approximately 40,000 kilometers. The Sorrel third body has a diameter of roughly 14,000 kilometers. 40,000 kilometers is not a comfortable margin, but it is a margin. The compact interdiction asset, a purpose-built mass driver platform dispatched from Depot Keth 4, arrived at 2300. By that point, Orvith 11 was already past the decision window. The platform's crew confirmed the trajectory update, logged the missed distance, and filed a no further action required notation. They also noted, in their report, that a Terran survey vessel appeared to have already completed an interdiction pass, and that they were requesting clarification on authorization. I wrote the clarification report myself. It took some time to find the right category for what had happened. Our standard incident taxonomy has entries for compact authorized interdictions, for mutual aid activations under named accords, and for incidental assists by passing vessels operating under their own flag's protocols. None of those quite fit. The Aldrin's promise had not been authorized in the conventional sense. I had confirmed their offer after the fact, not dispatched them. They had responded to an automated notification that neither party in this office had known we were sending them. They had diverted a science vessel off a mapping run, applied a deflection array to an 11-kilometer rock, and adjusted the trajectory of a potential catastrophe before the responsible authority had finished convening its assessment team. I created a new category. I called it Unsolicited Accord Response Standing Subscription, Unreviewed. I am not certain the Taxonomy Committee will accept it. I filed it anyway. The formal compact review of the Aldrin's promises intervention took 11 days. The vessel's captain submitted a full telemetry archive, a deflection calculation log, and a single-paragraph cover note that described the incident as a routine divert from transit. I read that phrase several times. An 11-kilometer rock, 38 hours to impact, a 2-pass gravitic deflection sequence on a mass denser than the initial estimate. Routine. I wrote the captain a formal acknowledgement, as protocol requires. I thanked them for the response and noted that the compact would review the status of the Terran subscription to frequency Keth 9. They replied within the hour. The reply was 4 words, "Please leave it active." I have made a recommendation to that effect. I expect it will take the relevant administrative committee approximately 3 cycles to formally ratify it. These things move at the pace they move. In the meantime, I have added a notation to every hazard notification template in this office. This filing is distributed to Compact Relay Network and to Terran Deep Grid Monitoring under Joint Hazard Accord, Article 9, Annex 4. Earth has been on this list for 112 years. I did not put that notation there for Earth's benefit. They know what list they are on. I put it there for the benefit of whoever sits in this chair after me, so that when a response arrives from a survey vessel 11 light hours out, the duty officer does not spend 20 minutes staring at a transmission header before calling anyone in. Orvith Rogue 11 passed the Sorrel third body 41 minutes outside the original impact window. No one on the surface knew it had come that close. 40,000 kilometers is not a comfortable margin, but the margin held. I filed the post-event report, closed the incident under the new taxonomy category, and returned to the mapping run data that Vora had been patiently holding for me since the previous morning. On the Aldrin's promise, I assume, someone went back to work as well.